So, Rich, did Scott do anything like that? Please say yes.
Yes. Yes. Does that satisfy you?
He just says yes. There's no backup story.
He says yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Brilliant podcasting. Way to answer. Way to ask a yes or no question. Fantastic.
Well,
Mary.
okay. Well, I would think that maybe there could be follow through. Did he ever bring in stray animals? Did he like animals? Did you have a pet growing up, Scott? Did you have a childhood pet?
My dad hated pets.
Well,
I was lucky to have a new.
I don't believe
They
that
lasted
for
3
a
days.
second.
I knew that was
Clear your
coming. I knew that was coming. I don't hate pets. I just don't want pets around. That's all. I love.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him at all.
And now it's time for the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris.
Come on at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's right, you're listening to the No New Friends podcast, voted number 1 by our friends and family. We are the podcast for adults who like to laugh at adulting. Please connect with us, the Instagram, the Twitter, the YouTube, the Facebook, all of the social media. Just check out our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. All of our links are there. While you're on our website, check out our sweet merchandise, including my Strange News with Mary, the Chris's Conspiracy shirt, Chris's Conspiracy Corner shirt, and then the host with my lovely face on it. You can also join our Patreon and be a member of our clubhouse, a friend with benefits, if you will. And also, starting June 22nd, that is the first day that you can vote for us as a finalist for Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Local Notables Best Local Podcast. So if we made it starting on June 22nd, which is in 3 days, please vote for us. My name is Scott. I am the host. With me, as always, my co-host. I'm an architect for her pain. Not only is she the queen of the sunrail, she's the queen of quarantine, Mary. And our other co-host. He's a LinkedIn expert. If you're looking for a job and you need some unsolicited advice on how to make your LinkedIn profile better, just give him a call. He's our scumbag reselling hoarder, Chris.
Why aren't we flying? Because getting there is half the fun. You know that.
I don't know that.
It's a really,
I don't remember it. I know. I should know it.
Give you a hint.
Dad, it's a movie quote. Do you know it?
It's a famous dad.
Say it again. Oh, that's
Because why aren't we flying?
Vacation.
Because getting there is half the fun.
It's Beverly.
Yes, you nailed it. Nailed it.
How did I not get that
Shame,
one?
shame on you,
So
Scott.
today,
Shame on you.
I know.
I even got that one.
Listen, today is Father's Day, and Chris has a very special Father's Day monologue. But before we get to that, I've got to introduce our 2 special guests to the show today. First of all, to my bottom left is the doctor himself, Dr. Ed Samaro, who is Mary Reedy's father. Dr. Ed, thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm a big fan. I wouldn't be here without him.
Very, very proud of Mary.
No, thanks.
Oh, we're proud of her too.
Thanks.
Also joining us on my bottom right side, the man, the myth, the legend, my father, Richard Maffei. Dad, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely great. I will withhold judgment to see if it's very nice to be here until the end of the show.
I promise you it will not be.
Here's the problem. The issue is that Rich has spent enough time with at least Scott and I collectively to know to hold out judgment for a little while.
Well, that's why I'm Jiminy Cricket tonight.
Yeah, just thank you. We appreciate it.
So
yeah, I bought him that Jiminy Cricket hat because he always gives us advice on the golf course and tries to teach us how to play golf. So he got Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, disclaimer.
Great, and you're still awful. No offense, though, Rich. Scott's still working on the game.
Agreed.
It's okay.
Just a quick disclaimer. My dad is still with us, but his public speaking abilities are not. So he is not on tonight's episode. He had this whole my dad's just never been good at public speaking. So like when you put a microphone in front of him, he'll tell you, he'll be the first one to tell you that he just cannot speak. So like at our at Emily and I's wedding a few months ago, he had this whole, I really wanted him to give a speech. He had this whole paper written down. He got 2 sentences out before he just couldn't say anymore. So needless to say, he will not be joining us for tonight's episode.
He's here in spirit.
Yeah,
He's here
just
in
gonna say
spirit.
the
He
same
is here
thing.
in spirit. So, Chris, you want to go ahead and give us your Father's Day monologue, and then we've got so much great stuff to get to.
Yes, let's get to this. So, it is Father's Day. So for this monologue, I wanted to incorporate a bunch of dad jokes into this because, 'tis the season. So I had to do some research because I couldn't differentiate between a joke and a dad joke. So do you know when a joke transcends to a dad joke? It's when it becomes apparent. So I didn't want to make this monologue real long. So I did actually write all these jokes down on a tortilla. So I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. The other day I went to the mall. I had to go to the Apple store because someone actually hacked into my account. Surprisingly enough, the only thing they took was my Microsoft Office login information. And let me tell you something. I will find you. You have my word. While I was at the Apple store, I actually saw someone run right into the store. It was crazy. He ran right in, was wearing a mask and everything, not a face mask, a whole ski mask, stole an iMac. Does that make me an eyewitness? Anyway, the employee finally got around to waiting on me. They were short on staff because of traffic. Roads were closed all over the place. It was a mess. Apparently, there was a huge fire at the circus. Did you hear about it? It was intense. The Apple employee helped me with my issue, so I started shopping around, big Apple guy. So I asked him if he recommended the Velcro Apple Watch band. He told me not to buy anything Velcro. It's a total ripoff. It's a shame, because I needed a new watch band for when I go golfing. I'm a big golfer. I like to track my swings with my Apple Watch. My old one's getting old. So I went to Macy's, actually, after the Apple store to get some new socks. The last time I went golfing, I actually got a hole-in-one.
Oh, man.
I tried to buy the socks, but my card got declined, which is weird because my bank's been calling me every day, complimenting me on my outstanding balance. So I don't really understand what that was about. I was really... As soon as my card was declined, I couldn't wait to get out of there because it was freezing in there. It was like super windy. Then I realized it was just because there was a celebrity shopping there with a ton of fans. So I leave Macy's. I was a little pissed because I did remember I parked on the second floor of the mall parking garage, and I had to wait forever to take the elevator. The stairs were clear, but I never take the stairs. I don't trust them. Stairs are always up to something. I got into my car, and my anxiety started to settle in. I read that by law you must turn your headlights on when it's raining in Sweden. How am I supposed to know when it's raining in Sweden? Plus the fact that I get PTSD while on roads because it reminds me of my father. When I was a kid, my dad got fired from his job as a road worker for theft. I refused to believe he could do such a thing, but when I got home, the signs were all there. It was only a downward spiral from there. After being fired, he got addicted to the hokey pokey. Thank goodness he was able to turn himself around. He then went to hair school, opened up his own shop. Barbers, gotta take your hats off to him. So anyway, after a stressful day and a rehashing of childhood traumas, I realized there's only one thing that I can't deal with, and that's a deck of cards glued together. Happy Father's Day.
Chris Yob, everybody, with
Nice.
the dad jokes for Father's Day
Chris,
monologue.
that was impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Put
Very
somebody
good.
together. My favorite
He
is
put
the
that together in like
tortilla.
10 minutes.
Yeah,
I texted him at 7:45 minutes.
Yeah, Scott was like,
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
like
good.
20 of, and he's like, hey, can you do a monologue, Father's Day monologue? So do I get the stamp of approval from the dads with those good dad jokes?
You do. In fact, I'm going to take my hat off to you because I got a haircut today. I went to the barber shop.
Oh, good.
All right, so
Lord.
this
Great
is what we're
monologue.
going to do. We've got a couple games that we're going to be playing. In the second segment, Chris and Mary are going to be working together to see who did this. Was it me or was it my father? Then we're going to ask Mary how well she knows her father. Chris is going to be asking her 5 questions about her dad, and then she will answer them, and then Ed's going to answer if she got those right or wrong. So it should be a lot of fun. But first, I'm sure that there are questions that we are dying to ask each other's dads about each other. So I've got to start with Dr. Ed.
Okay.
Dr. Ed, Mary talks all the time about how when she was a kid, she grew up on horror films, watching, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th at the ripe young age of 5. How accurate is that? Is it an exaggeration? And what were you thinking?
Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. I think I'm guilty of that. I don't know what I was thinking. It probably wasn't the best of choices.
I don't know. I think it created character, honestly. I mean, look at me now. I would never die in that type of situation.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well,
But also, I was curious.
yeah, I absolutely don't regret it, though, for some reason. It doesn't bother me.
Well, and Mary having to put up with all the horrors of working with Scott at the restaurants, that was a horror show too.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just preparing me for my future, honestly.
And there he is. So you were telling us before we started recording about Mary found a stray cat once. I need to hear more about this.
I wish it was just
Well,
once.
she liked cats, but I liked them too. So we would talk about how funny they are. And I said, Mary, I have a good idea. Why don't you go catch us one? Where we're living at the time, it was populated with some stray cats. And so Mare went out and she literally comes in. I caught one. And it's like jerking within her arms and stuff. And so anyway, the cat, oops, sorry, that was me. They ended up getting, I know. Ooh. They ended up getting attached to one another, and she dressed it up with a little bonnet on its head and went to the neighbor's house saying, I'm collecting for the cause of stray cats. And the neighbor, she just thought that was so funny. I think she gave Mary like $5 anyway, just because it was just so cute and funny.
So I've been an entrepreneur from day one, guys. If I remember right, that cat was Webster. Wasn't that the cat?
No, well, it
That big tabby, right? Wasn't it
may have
Webster?
been Webster. I'm forgetting the name. It turned out he was just a crazy cat. I think he was.
Yeah, it was Webster.
Yeah, I think he was psychotic. He was definitely hallucinating. He saw things that he went after that really wasn't there. But he was fun.
Basically, I should have used that $5 for services for him, but I did not.
He was a fun cat.
Pocketed it. Yeah, good times. So Rich, did Scott do anything like that? Please say yes.
Yes. Yes. Does that satisfy you?
He
Yes.
just says yes. There's no backup story.
He says yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Brilliant podcasting. Way to answer. Way to ask a yes or no question. Fantastic,
Well,
Mary.
okay. Well, I would think that maybe there could be follow through. Did he ever bring in stray animals? Did he like animals? Did you have a pet growing up, Scott? Did you have a childhood pet?
My dad hated pets.
Well,
I was lucky to have a new.
Let's-
I don't
They
believe that
lasted
for
3
a
days.
second.
I knew that was
Clear your
coming.
name.
I knew that was coming. I don't hate pets. I just don't want pets around. That's all. I love.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him at all.
Yeah, I just don't want them in the house. That's all. I'll go over and play with. Hey, Brantley, Jack, Linda. Do I pet them and all that? Do I play with them? Yeah, but I don't want
Yeah,
to
but you
have
don't
to
have to
take
take
care of them.
them.
It's fair enough,
Got it.
though.
Well, Scott and Larissa,
Wow.
wanted hamsters or gerbils or whatever they were, and who ended up taking care of them? They looked at them. They ran around the wheels and the balls and all that, but they never took care of them. How many, Scott? How many
No, we
times?
didn't-
How
we
many
didn't
times
clean
did
the
you?
cage.
Yeah, how many times did you clean the cage?
Hold on. Okay, there was that one time, and then that other time. None.
Yeah,
none. I
none.
never cleaned the cage.
0 times. 0 times. Yeah, not at all. Wow. Good to know.
Chris, you've got to have a
Chris-
ton of questions.
I'm just
just
honestly,
woke Chris
I'm
up.
like a sponge, just taking in all this information. I'm enjoying
well,
this. I'm learning a lot
Rich
about
did
you
want to
guys.
know
Well, you guys,
why my name was Curly when I logged in. And so that was a growing up, that was my nickname. common misconception was it was because my hair was curly. That is not true. It was because I had an abnormal obsession with the Three Stooges from a very young age. And when I could tell you anything about the Three Stooges, and not just like, okay, there was, Mo, Larry, and Curly. I'd be like, which Curly? Which variety? Do you want Curly Joe Dorita? We talking Shemp? I knew way too much, but that's where that nickname came from. Even to the point where we would go to Universal and ride E.T. And, when E.T. says your name, we would make him say, hello, Mo, Larry, Curly. Like when we'd go through. Yeah, so there's that. And, Dad was super supportive in my endeavors of wanting to know everything about the Three Stooges. I was gifted a VHS tape about the history and the life and times of the Three Stooges, and I would watch that on repeat. I could just rattle off any fact about any of them. Obviously, I don't remember a lot of that now. That was, the standard life of a 7-year-old, I think. It seems to
there's
make
a
a lot
funny
of sense.
story to that, too. So she got an award for physical education, and she made the coach write, instead of her name, Curly Q Link, because that was Curly's name in one episode. Curly Q Link, and I'm thinking, what?
What's really funny, Mary, is I did something very similar to that. And I'll let my dad, if he remembers, I'll let him kind of tell you.
Well, you talk about the Laurel and Hardy shows?
No. She put her name on the paper as Curly.
Oh, you were Alf.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, you were Alf.
No, I wasn't Alf. Come on. No, it was Gonzo.
Oh,
I thought I was
that's
Gonzo
Alf.
for like a year.
Yeah, but
they look kind of similar.
Yeah, you impersonated Alf for what, about the first 10 years of your life almost?
What?
That's right.
I need to know more about that.
I know.
Can we just
I would like to see the impression of Alf.
Yeah,
I
come on.
can't do it anymore.
Oh,
I
come
can't
on.
do it
People
anymore.
want it.
Scott, you know you can do
I
it.
you gonna
can't do
do-
the impression of Alf anymore.
You're going to deny my father your Alf impersonation?
It's
Wow.
not. That's the thing is it used to be very good. It's not anymore. I cannot.
I guarantee you it was not good. I bet it's still the same. Let's see it.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear the bad impression.
I'm interested either way.
It was really good. In fact, it was so good that I obsessed over buying the Alf puppets from Burger King. Like we had to get the little. That was when they had like good prizes, and it was like a full Alf puppet, and
Yeah,
it came with
good
like
prizes.
a tape like you listen. Yeah, the good prizes, and it had like a whole audio soundtrack and everything.
Did the impersonation start to wither away when you started losing the hair?
I think
At the ripe age of 9, then is when that impression went away.
I think it was high school graduation.
Yeah,
Look, we all peak, Scott. We all peak. All right?
It was when I discovered girls. When I discovered girls, the impressions stopped. And then later on in life, the impressions get the girls. So it was really weird, full circle type thing.
That's the key. That's how you won Rachel, is your Alf impression. You brought it back for one time only.
It was one night only. Just long enough. That first
So
date.
3 seconds heard. So I'm going to ask both of you this. We'll start with my father. That way it kind of breaks the ice. So I look, I'm sure I did stupid things. Well, no, I know I did stupid things as a kid. I know I did things to get in trouble. What was the one thing that I did where when I did it, it was just kind of like, what the and I'm not talking about having a child out of wedlock. We don't need to go down that road.
Damn, that was my go-to.
He's like, which one?
What was the one thing where it was like, what the hell was he thinking? But also made you laugh about, or maybe it didn't make you laugh, but what was like the thing where it was just like, what a bonehead thing to do? Like the biggest thing that comes to your mind.
Well, after having Darren out of wedlock, well, but yeah, all right, I'll tell you what, I won't go down that route if you promise not to ask what question I asked you first when you let us know. But it was painting your car. Painting your car for homecoming.
Painting my car, and I didn't even get in trouble for that.
Yeah, well, it was.
What, you painted it yourself?
It was. So he had, what was that, about your third car?
That was my first car.
No, that was, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was desperate. I bought him a 1986 Ford Tempo, stick shift.
Ford Tempo. It was 1996, so it was 10 years
86,
old.
86.
No, I know, but the year that you bought it was
Oh, yes.
1996.
Yeah. So it was multicolored, blue and rust, and and a stick shift. So I had to teach him how to drive a stick, which was an adventure in itself, because he didn't want to listen to me for anything anyway. I was wondering whether we were going to crash or not. But anyway, so high school homecoming, he decides that he and another guy are going to paint this car with spray cans of black and gold stripes, and he's going to ride this sucker in the homecoming parade. So
It made the yearbook. I was.
it did make the yearbook, yeah.
That's great.
And the house that we have it that he painted it in still has the paint marks on the driveway. I drove by there 3 days ago and I saw them.
Don't make paint like they used to. I'll tell you that.
I sure don't.
Well,
Right.
it was kind of like the what's the I can't even remember the Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee. Yeah, they tried to paint it like the General Lee. Didn't work out very well.
This had a racing stripe and everything. It had like a gold racing.
I bet it
stripe
looked
down the,
fantastic.
down the top.
I bet it was right
No, it
on
looked
par with your
terrible.
Alf impersonation, just like right up there.
Wow. All right, Dr. Ed, your turn. What was the bonehead thing that Mary did as a kid or a high school kid?
Oh man, let him count
Yeah.
the ways.
Mind you, this is only an hour-long podcast.
Yeah, so she was a pretty good kid. Not many things. So there was one, she was working at Shell's and she was supposed to be at work and she said she was working late. Oh, I have two things actually. So that just reminded me of something else.
Jeez, Dad, no, just one. You gotta pick one.
Actually, the other story I like better.
All right, let's go that
So-
route. That sounds good. Let's go there.
Oh, okay. So one thing she did, she was supposed to be sleeping over her girlfriend's house, and her girlfriend was supposed to be sleeping over at our house. And somehow we called to check on our kids and realized we'd been duped and found out they went to an adult party.
What? Me?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, like keg of beer and, the smell of
Never.
skunk in the air,
Oh, Mary, was that when you learned how to do keg stands, or was that later?
I did not partake in any type of illegal drugs. I was the keg stand champion, though, on Panama City Beach in, I don't know, like spring break 2007, probably, I think. So maybe engaged in some underage alcohol consumption, but look, I didn't die, guys. Here I am, It was probably all of the survival training from the movies I watched growing up, okay? Like, I was really just raised to know how to... It was fine. Everything was okay, all right?
I would have been a hypocrite. I mean, I can't say that we didn't do certain things as kids that are stupid. But the other story is she was supposed to be working at Shell's.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You
No,
said
I'm
you were...
doing it anyway.
Mary, I'm muting you.
So she was supposed to be at...
Go ahead,
supposed to
Dr.
be
Ed.
at
It's all yours.
Shell's, and she was supposed to be home at a certain time, and she said she was working late, so I decided to check up on her. Not that I ever really had a reason to check up on her, but I did. Shell's was closed. Nobody was there. So I didn't, I pulled into, just by luck, chance luck, Applebee's. And there she is running in with her girlfriend. They're like high-fiving each other. Like, yeah, it was like 1 a.m, right? She's 17 years old at Applebee's. I was just livid.
I think I was almost 18, to be fair, guys. I think I was probably a senior.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay, but they had half-off appetizers after 10 p.m., okay? All right? All I'm saying is that spinach and artichoke dip, man. And it was cheap. I was balling on a budget. I was still trying to save for college. Also, they didn't check IDs if you wanted alcohol at Applebee's.
There's
You
the
know,
reason.
So that
I don't
was-
know. Look,
That was funny. So
we're all adults here. Real
Yeah.
sorry about that.
I'd be real curious what the three of you guys would be willing to admit was your biggest bonehead move. Something that we don't know.
Oh,
That is a great question, and we will answer that question when we come back from break. You're listening to the No New Friends podcast.
That is a great question.
I love my daddy. I love my daddy. I love my daddy. Yes, I do. Here's a kiss and a hug for you. Thank you, Daddy, for all you do. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I love you. Happy Father's Day. I love you.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Remy, from Remy's Roundtable. Remy's Roundtable is a podcast for all of our listeners who would like to know what's going on here in the beautiful state of Florida, whether it has to be the Florida theme parks, the Florida sports, and of course we cover your top Florida headlines. We also bring the 5-Minute Professor every single month to give us our lecture and quiz on any topic that we would like to learn. So guys, do not go anywhere. You are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
Hey everyone, it's Dane from Big Beautiful Diz. If you're not familiar with my channel already, I do videos about theme parks, historical videos, interviews with people from the theme park community or people that have worked in or with a theme park. I give my opinions, plus I review the latest Disney, Marvel, or Pixar movie. So head over to youtube.com/c/BigBeautifulDiz and hit that red subscribe button. I'll see you over there, everyone.
Hey guys, comedian James John, and you are listening to the No New Friends podcast.
There he sits with a pen and a yellow pad. What a handsome lad, that's my boy. BRLFQ spells mom and dad. Well, that ain't too bad, 'cause that's my boy. Well, you can have your TV and your nightclubs, and you can have your drive-in picture show. I'll stay here with my little man near. We'll listen to the radio, biding my time and watching Scotty grow.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris. We are joined by a very special guest, Dr. Ed Samaro, Mary's father and my father, Richard Maffei. Now, right before the break, my dad asked, what is the bonehead things that we did, or that we think we did, the biggest bonehead things? I know for me, I don't know why in the hell I thought I could get away with this, but I was doing, youth group shows and all that, and it was the summer, and I said that I went to church for
I see this coming.
Saturday night mass. Yes, I was like, oh yeah, I went to 5 o'clock mass. Because we had all day rehearsal and we had double rehearsals before mass and then after mass, and we were all expected to go to mass. So the next morning he's like, it's time to get up to go to church. I said, no, I went to 5 o'clock mass. I'm good. Like, I don't need to go. And he's like, okay, great. Thanks for being responsible and going. So he goes to 9 o'clock mass on Sunday morning, comes back home and says, hey, what'd you think of that homily? Oh, it's fantastic. And he's like, yeah, when what'd you think about what Father John said in the one part? I was like, oh, Father John nailed it. Like, he, really did great. And he's like, Father John's on vacation. It was Father Robert. Oops. Now, and this is something that my dad doesn't know. Something that I've actually never shared this with to my parents. There was one time.
Oh man, breaking news!
Yeah.
Everyone.
I know, breaking news. It was a similar church story. I was hanging out with some of the guys that I played basketball with. We had a high school sleepover or whatever, and we're like all were expected to go to mass. Didn't go to mass. We went bowling instead. Now here's the crappy thing, and I got away with
wild animal.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like that's like every dad's or every parent's dream is they skip church, but at least they went to bowling.
Very wholesome. Like, it could be a lot worse, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Here's the crappy thing. It was the only time ever that I got a turkey, and I bowled 5 strikes that game. So it was 5 strikes, including 3 in a row. I printed it out, but I could never share that with anybody. I could never show anybody. I could never talk about it.
Take it to the grave.
I know. So anyway, Dad, I missed 2 masses that I shouldn't have, and I bowled 5 strikes. So.
But did you go to confession?
He just
did.
This is
in the Catholic Church, all I have to do is say I'm sorry, and I'm good to go. It's fine. It's the loophole. Chris, what's your big bonehead move?
Honestly, there's nothing, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. My parents struck the fear of God into me. First of all, my dad, my mom was home with me and my sister a lot. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad had a jewelry store, so he was working most of the time. When he'd come home, so my mom, first of all, you've seen like the funny, really hilarious Vines and TikToks about Hispanic mothers. Well, my mom's half Puerto Rican. Her dad's from Puerto Rico. Hold on.
Enough said. We understand
Vines
completely.
And TikToks. But you're saying Vines and TikToks with our dads here. They have no idea what you're talking about.
The funny...
At least my dad has no idea.
The funny renditions of Hispanic mothers on the tube. What
internet videos.
They're going to throw their chancla at you is what you're basically saying.
All I had to hear, and I still hear in my nightmares, is my mom rustling around in the spoon to grab that wooden spoon. That's all I needed to hear. Or when my dad got home, because my dad wouldn't get mad easily. When my mom got mad, my dad got mad, and all I had to hear was the crack of the belt. And then listen, between the rustling of the spoon and the cracking of the belt, I didn't even, if I tried to sneak out, my mom would know. Like if I even thought about sneaking out, my mom would know that I was gonna. She'd be like, "Yeah." So I heard you're thinking about sneaking out. I didn't tell Soul. She just know. No, there was.
I was disturbance in the force.
She's like Amazon or Facebook. You just heard you mention it once in passing.
I was an
imaginary friend.
Angel. Now my sister was not. There was a hilarious
don't need to blast
story.
Her, man. Okay.
Listen, this is a funny story because this was stupid. See, I just wasn't stupid. So. I get home from Emily's. This was years ago. I get home from Emily's house, and I come in the front door, and my parents are screaming at the top of I thought something happened, and my dad down and said, "Look what your smart sister did." So I go into the room, and my sister's. This is like 1 o'clock in the morning. Just kidding. I had a curfew, so it was like probably like 11.
It's like it's 7:30. Tom.
It was my second year in college, so my curfew was probably like 11. So I come in, and her window is taken out of the bracket on the floor, and she's climbing in through the window. So what happened was she thought it would be fun to lay on the roof. So my parents went into her room to check on her because they hadn't heard from her. And they go to the room, and she's missing with the window knocked in. Ooh. So they thought that somebody abducted her.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was so like I listen, I was an angel. I'm not climbing on the roof at 11 o'clock at night. Listen,
I believe it. I believe it too. Your anxiety would have gotten the best of you.
Oh, my conscience. Let's talk about being Catholic. Never broke any of the 10 Commandments. Well, if I did, I just went to confession. But I was afraid. I was afraid to do anything rebellious. I was terrified. That crack of the belt, man. I still hear that. It's like I get night terrors from that. Just wake up in the middle of the night with that and hearing that crack of the belt. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, nothing. I can't even. I was really thinking hard about what's one bonehead thing I could do. I could only think of stuff my sister did, not me. Couldn't be me.
Chris, you sound like the brother I never had. I was the same way, except it wasn't just the crack of the belt. It was actually the belt on the flesh.
Oh, never got that far. So afraid.
All right, Mary, real quick, because I want to get to this game. What did you do? Your bonehead move.
2 parts. So my parents did not believe in spanking or anything like that, which, you know what, on the surface sounds wonderful. It was psychological warfare. Dad, I love you guys for it. However, I distinctly remember one time, I think I was probably 10 or 11, And I made the wild mistake of asking. So my dad was helping me with a project I had for school. And obviously, I'm very studious. I like to do probably more than I should when it comes to projects. He was trying to help me. And at one point, I got overwhelmed and thought it would be appropriate to tell him, this is going in one ear and out the other. And instead of getting spanked or whatever it is, I had to go do a report and interview all the mayoral candidates for where I grew up. Do you know what that's like for a kid? I had to go interview them and ask them questions and then put together a presentation and turn that into my dad after I already was doing just a shit job at the presentation I was already working on. So that was a bonehead move. We'll start there. I think the worst one, though, that I ever did that I was not thinking, I forgot my key one day in middle school. And my sister was in high school. I was in the 8th grade. I think my sister was in the 11th grade. And so I had to like break into our bedroom to get in. And I called my dad because I was like, hey, I can't get in. SOS, help. I ended up taking us all down with that. We get in. My sister was a secret smoker at the time. So we open up the window. Do you remember this?
Yes.
I know. We open up the window for me to get in, and it's my sister's little ashtray and all of that, like all of her contraband right there. And I was like, whoa, I knew immediately I had made a mistake, but I was so happy that I was not stuck outside anymore. Little did she know what was coming to her. She was going to have to interview so many people. Woo, she didn't even know. Oh man, yeah. So good times had by all. Yeah, bonehead mistake.
She even said that she didn't know whose cigarettes they were, and I said, "Well, whose were they?" She started crying. I don't know.
I know. I tried to cover because at first you said at first you go, "You smoke," and I was like, "No, it's not mine." And you're like, "Whose are they?" And I was like, "I don't know. The guinea pig. I don't know, man. It was rough. It was a rough time being a teenager, man."
All right, are you guys ready to play Who Did This, me or my dad?
Okay, I'm ready.
You guys ready?
I don't know, maybe.
I've got a couple of statements. Now, the way I'm going to read them is I did this, I did that. Speaking in the first person, okay, and you've got to guess, is it myself or my dad? There's no context or anything to that. It's just the headline. Then we'll leave it to either one of us if we want to expand on the context. So you guys ready? You can work together. It's not nobody's going against each other. It's just how what do you guys think?
Okay,
we can do this.
So we're gonna start kind of easy. Okay, I got in trouble for kissing a girl in the 2nd grade.
No, it wasn't
Rich.
Scott. Yeah, that's Rich.
What?
That is Rich.
No offense, Scott. There's no way you had that game back then. That Alf impersonation was not strong enough. It was not.
Busted. A little blonde girl by the name of Joan Donovan.
But did you confess, Rich? Did you confess?
Oh, I got caught by the nuns.
All right.
What was her name? Joan Donovan? Is that what you said?
Joan Donovan.
If you're out there anywhere, just if you could draw. I'm just kidding.
She had curly blonde hair.
Oh,
Wow.
you still remember?
Okay. I once got drunk at Walt Disney World while chaperoning a class trip. Who
That
did
was you last
Well,
week,
that me or
Scott.
my
God,
dad?
what are you talking about?
We're gonna we're definitely gonna get Scott on this, right?
All right. So you guys, final answer,
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Dad, why don't you tell us about the time that you got drunk?
Like father, like son.
I know, no. There's no way.
So 8th grade class trip for a Catholic grammar school. We were at Disney World. We were at the Contemporary Hotel, and the phys ed teacher, who was a co-chaperone, introduced me to Tequila Sunrise.
It'll do it every time, man.
So I had a few of them at the Monorail Club car, kind of at the top of the Contemporary, and then we went into the theme park. We told the kids where to meet us, blah, blah, blah.
Meet us at the bar later.
I fell asleep right in front of Pirates of the Caribbean and got woken up by some monkeys. Yeah, I've been told it was not a pretty sight.
I'm not well right now.
All right.
Look, but hold on. I just as a follow-up, I don't feel like that was a fair question because technically I think you both are probably guilty of that charge. I don't think it's fair to say one or the other. Scott, there's no way.
He's probably never chaperoned the trip.
I've never gotten drunk.
Scott's not allowed to chaperone.
Yeah, that's that whole
I'm
how
on a
many
registry.
feet you have to stay away from the schools. I forgot. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I've never I would never drink on a I would never drink as a chaperone ever.
All right, so just put it in context real quick. That was back in, 1978 or something like that.
Look,
was fine.
you
Another
don't have
lifetime.
to explain
It's fine.
anything, Rich. Tequila sunrises were definitely in there. I understand. Look, and kids are rough, especially in the 8th grade. Man, I would be drunk on that field trip too. Go on with your bad self. I'm proud of you.
All right, I won the Teacher's Choice Award from my theology teacher senior year of high school.
All
Who
right,
was that? Was that me or my dad?
Mary. Now,
Yeah,
think about
let's-
this.
Okay,
This isn't
theology.
So this isn't no, but this I'm not even. This is a. I think it's an obvious Scott because he's bragging about himself.
That's true. His
That's
favorite
what I
topic.
think. Yes.
Okay, yeah, Scott for 500, Alex.
That is me.
Got it. Chris, you're a genius.
He needed to slide that in there. He probably got the award under that tapestry back there.
He does.
Right?
He actually does. He's going to actually put it above the stairs. I think Rachel and I were talking about that earlier. You're going to get it blown up.
Yep.
Black and white.
All right. My date at the 9th grade dance went home with another guy.
Ooh. What do you think, Mary?
Oh my God. Okay.
Do you think Scott had a date?
That's what I was going to say is I don't know if
dance.
Scott actually had a date for the 9th grade
All right.
dance. No offense, Scott.
I had a lot of girlfriends in high
I
school.
bet you had so many girlfriends in high school. Did they know they were your girlfriend though? That's kind of typically. But I am gonna but you want to know why? I think that it's Scott because I don't think that would happen to Rich. I don't think that happened to Rich.
Oh, that's a good point. Let's go, Scott.
Dad, tell us about the time you got left
Oh
at the
my
dance.
gosh, what's her name? We ride at dawn.
So her
all right,
name-
we're gonna go get her.
This wasn't Joan, was it?
Was it Joan?
So no,
Was
it was
her?
not Joan. No. So I actually looked it up in my 9th grade yearbook. It was the 9th grade prom. I went to a junior high school. That was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, and it was the prom. Linda Fafinski.
Oh, she sounds
She
like
was-
a hoe,
she was-
Rich. I don't know, man. She sounds awful.
Yeah. And she went home with a guy who was not even from our school, and I knew him. I played football with him. But yeah, it was not a fun night. And she actually wrote in my yearbook, "Remember the prom? You were a great guy."
Oh,
Wow.
no.
She put salt in the wound?
Wow.
That's really not nice. What was her name again? I'm not writing it down or anything right now. It's fine.
All right,
Her
next
name
question.
was Linda. There we go.
All right, I was a co-captain of the 9th grade basketball team.
Oh, Scott, that was you. We already know that.
Yeah, there you go, Scott.
It's a,
All right. Well, that was my dad.
oh,
not
wow.
I was captain of my 8th grade team, but he was captain of the 9th grade.
Oh, it's a cheap one.
So technically, it's
Little
both of us.
tricky.
I'll give it to you.
A little tricky.
I
It's
feel
close
like
enough.
That's
Yeah.
close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's both of us. All right. I once got drunk and threw a wine glass off a hotel balcony.
I don't think Scott could do that. What do you think?
I don't know if Scott drinks wine. That's the only part that's holding me up. I'm going to say Rich because I don't think that Scott drinks wine.
What if somebody insulted Scott by giving him a bottle of wine? He chucked
The
it off
only wine that
balcony.
I've ever witnessed Scott drink is if I make him drink mimosas ever. That's typically the only time I see it happen.
We going Rich on this one?
I'm going Rich on this one. Yeah, I think
Let's go
so.
Rich.
That is correct.
Haha.
At first, it was a couple ice cubes, and then they just decided to start chucking wine glasses.
Wow.
Is there more context to that?
So that was a company outing, and
Just like all good company outings.
hold on.
That makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm just glad you didn't say field trip this time.
He's like, yeah, it was the 9th grade field trip. All right, kids are a little older.
Yeah, I think there were actually a few of us who were trying to, nail something down in the parking lot.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. All right. I once entertained wedding guests with magic tricks.
Scott can't do magic, right?
Yeah, I
That
don't
sounds
think
like
Scott knows
something
magic.
a kid would do.
This answer might be embarrassing.
Scott, I don't think I've ever seen Scott do magic before.
Kids just think they could do magic, so I'm going to say it was Scott, even though I may not have the right to put my input in here, but
No, please put your input.
my behavioral science I'm using, that was Scott that did that.
You know what?
I say
With
we. Yeah, I
behavioral
don't know.
science
Yeah,
on
I
our
feel
side.
All right, we're
do you
going with
think?
Scott then. I'll put
Yeah, we have
my
to.
money in on it.
That was absolutely me.
Oh, nice job, Dad.
Ba-doom.
There you go.
Well done, Ed.
I went table to table performing magic tricks. And yes, I actually did. I did a ton of magic. I bought I had a pretty good magic. I still have a pretty good magic collection. My mom and I actually taught summer camp doing magic tricks and all that. Yeah, I wanted to be a magician at one point, but then I realized that you have to have talent.
Yeah, Scott, when we're done wrapping with the show, we're open to see some of this because I'm interested.
Yeah, Scott, what were you doing at this wedding? Were you making
I've been doing
food
magic all
disappear?
night. I made a lot of beard.
Yeah,
That's funny. We both did the same joke at the same time. All right, I got a couple more, and then we'll move on. I once jumped in the pool at the Grand Cypress Hotel at night, fully clothed.
Grand Cypress Hotel is a golfing hotel. I'm going to go with Rich on this one.
Yeah, let's do Rhea. I'm
golf
thinking
resort.
Rich as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely my dad. I didn't even know that story.
I used my context clues.
Very good. And I was trying to do ones that didn't have context clues. All right, I got one more for you. I was pantsed in gym class. Thought it was
Scott.
funny. Looked down to find out my boxers were also around.
Oh no! Oh no!
We're going to go with Rich on that because we know that you wear tighty whities, Scott. Rich wears boxers.
Oh.
Not that
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
know
go
that,
Rich.
but I would.
All right, so Rich, final answer.
Yeah, and if you didn't catch last week's episode, I was pants at the doctor's office.
You were. But listen, that was.
So that
There was
was
consent.
7th grade. That was me.
Oh no! Oh man!
We were standing in our rows, getting ready for gym class to start, and just for some reason, we all thought it was cool to pants each other. Until the day that I got pants, but he also grabbed my boxers.
And then everything stopped. All the pantsing stopped. Really, this was a
All the
terrible
pantsing
idea.
at that point stopped.
A hard.
You know what happened? They're like, hey, get that weird Alf kid.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, how well does Mary know her father? You're listening to the No New Friends podcast. We'll be right back.
It's just a little heart, but it says all I can say, and it's just for you on Father's Day. It's just for you on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Dad!
Okay, let's be friends. Follow the No New Friends podcast on Facebook and Instagram at No New Friends Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel, No New Friends Podcast, where you can get a behind-the-scenes look at our recordings, everyday life, and shenanigans. Okay, bye.
Hey, this is Mike and Tom, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. Goodbye. Hey, this is Mike and new friend. No. You say and Tom. You want no new friend. No, you say and Tom. And Tom. Hey, all right, go. Take 40. Hey, this is Mike and Tom, and we're with the Gina McReynolds Foundation, and thank you for listening to the God. I'm serious. Hey, this is Mike and Tom. And we're with the Gina McReynolds Foundation, and you're listening to the No New Friends podcast. And Tom.
There's two things I know for sure. She was sent here from heaven, and she's daddy's little girl, as I drop to my knees by her bed at night. She talks to Jesus, and I close my eyes, and I thank God for all of the joy in my life. Oh, but most of all, for butterfly kisses after bedtime prayer, sticking little white flowers all up in her hair.
Welcome back to the No New Friends podcast with Scott, Mary, and Chris, and special guest Dr. Ed Samaro, and then my father, Richard Maffei. So now we're gonna see how well Mary knows her father. So Chris has prepared 5 questions for Mary to answer about her dad, and then we'll see with Dr. Ed if she's right or not. So Chris, take it away.
All right, I'm gonna start off with a softball.
Okay.
What's your dad's favorite color?
Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna go with blue.
All right, Mary says blue. We'll find out if she's right at the end.
Okay.
All right, Chris, question number 2.
All right, another pretty easy one. What's your dad's favorite food?
Okay, look. There's a few of them, okay? That's not fair. You can't say a favorite food. My father has a love for food, right? So it depends on what it is, right? So if we're talking about a snack, all right, a couple of dogs maybe, a nice sub with good grass. He likes good pizza, a really nice prime rib, maybe a really well-prepared lamb. I don't know. He just has a good taste for food. Let me think about absolute favorite food, though. Okay, either Carvel ice cream or what? I'm serious.
So Carvel ice cream.
Carvel ice cream or maybe disco fries from the diner in Jersey. Final answer.
Oh, disco fries.
I'm gonna go with that.
All right, Chris, question number 3.
What was the first concert your dad ever attended?
Okay.
Oh.
Let me think about this.
Well, you're thinking, you want me to show my dad's age? His first concert was Led Zeppelin.
Picture it, Sicily, 1923. Let me think about it. Okay.
Sicily.
Picture it.
Dun 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 dun.
Don't-
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, I was helping.
I'm still trying.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even pick up on that. I do tell the story though, Dad, about when you used to play the piano in the front room, and I thought it was the most beautiful song, and then I realized it was Motley Crue's "Coming Home" as I got older. I was like, "This is such a beautiful song," and that's what it was. I don't know.
In the shuffling madness, locomotive breath. He's the old-time loser.
I still don't know. That's not helping.
Oh no.
Oh.
Another
right, Mary,
delicious,
need a guess.
delicious hint.
Yeah, give me a delicious hint.
Flute music with it in the background. Rock and
flute
roll
music
flute.
with it.
Rock and roll flute.
Rock and roll flute.
Oh my! Can I phone a friend? Can I?
Phone my dad. Phone my dad and see if my dad can help you with that. I didn't think so. I set you up to fail on that one.
He said Anchorman. I don't know.
Wait,
Anchorman, final answer?
Wait, Dane guessed. Dane has a guess.
Okay, what does Dane say?
What is Dane's guess?
Jethro Tull?
Absolutely.
Jethro
Ding, ding,
Tull.
ding, 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 ding. Jethro
Wow.
Tull, Uriah Heep. Uriah Heep opened for Jethro Tull.
He said, "Let's go."
Dane said easy. Dane said too easy. Oh, that's amazing.
Wait,
Dane,
but
for the
Dane-
record, for our listeners,
Yeah,
Dane is 17 years old.
Dane is.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Ian
Okay.
Anderson was the lead singer, and he played the flute, and it was the only band with the rock and roll flute until Marshall Tucker came around. But that was more southern rock. So
That is amazing. Wow.
I had no idea.
All right.
Okay.
Fourth question. Your dad's favorite hobby?
Okay. Dad's favorite hobby is, well, I think it's hard because he does a lot of things for a lot of people. He is definitely very studious and very intelligent. I think he's probably the longest ongoing student. I think he's still taking classes, so I think education and learning more is probably one of his favorite.
So apples and trees. There's a statement about apples and trees and falling far from them. Still in school.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So I would think either learning more, or just I think that, or he likes to help other people too.
All right, we need an answer.
This isn't.
This is the worst game show ever.
Okay, but it's hard. I can't even tell you what I like to do for fun. Whenever you are busy and you have kids, you don't even know what you like to do for fun. You know what I like to do for fun? Go pee because somebody doesn't follow me to the bathroom sometimes. Like that's fun. So I would. Okay.
Ryan just put, I'd like to begin by stalling hard.
Mary, if you'd like to phone a friend, Dane, who answered
who knows what my dad's favorite hobby
is. He said, I know your dad, better apparently. So the answer is listening to music.
So go with listening to music. All right, question number 5.
Okay, fine. Go ahead. 5.
Okay.
Well, you've pretty much named every hobby except for building birdhouses.
Well, no, he used to golf a lot.
So as long as it's not building birdhouses, then...
Last question.
All right, Chris, question number 5.
What's your dad's first name? No, I'm kidding. What is your dad's favorite movie?
Let's see. Let's start with A. We've got Apocalypse Now.
Dane, what is Mary's dad's favorite movie?
Tell me when you have no class.
Okay, Back to School.
Ooh.
With Rodney Dangerfield.
All right, so Back to School. All right, so going back to question number 1, Dr. Ed, what is your favorite color?
Blue.
There you go.
One for
nice,
one.
Mary. You got it. 1 for 1. All right. And favorite food?
I rattled a lot.
The Carvel soft serve was a good guess because I do love it. But steak, a ribeye, medium rare to rare is my absolute favorite.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Mary got the phone a friend Jethro Tull. Okay. Hobby. Favorite. What do you like to do for fun?
I like education, and I just took a physics course in experimental physics, University of Calcutta. So it was in India. It was very cheap. I think the price they said was 3,800 rupees, which turned out to be $16 US to take the course. So I quickly signed up, and I loved it. The professor said he would pass me as long as I agreed never to actually get a degree in physics. So,
so Mary, you said learning more.
Yes.
And then Dane made you change the music. So I'm going to give that one to you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank
learning
you.
more.
Dane, that was my second though. Life without music is unbearable.
No,
so Dane was close.
Dane, I know he's...
Wow.
Dane could be a love child.
And then, Chris, what was question number 5? I just
favorite
wrote down an
movie
answer that I can't read. Oh, and you said Back in School?
Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, Back to School?
That's absolutely correct.
Is that
my
correct?
all-time favorite. I watched that movie from time to time just to raise my spirits. So it's
that's awesome.
They told me you were the towel boy.
Yeah, right.
Mary,
That's
you
awesome.
got 4 out of 5.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
It's like he's your dad.
He's
And,
like my dad or something. Look, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
when we talk, it's usually all in movie quotes, or he'll just send me a text with, movie trivia, difficulty rating of, boop, 6. And then he'll send the thing, and I'll, typically we're pretty good, though. I think we're pretty much on the same wavelength when it comes to how
She
we think,
always
especially
gets
about
them
movies.
right, too. Always. I could do one now and she'll get it right.
Don't do that because I'll be put on the
All
spot.
right, let's do it. Let's do it.
because then
Let's
I'll
do
get
it.
it wrong.
Put her on the
Dad,
spot.
Give me one I know.
What are you doing here? Hi, Palsy. Just call me what?
Chubsy.
The Ubsy. See? She got it.
That's the Little Rascals, guys. I don't know if you know that.
Chris, Little Rascals is
Yeah,
about
he would.
a group of... So, dads, what you don't know is Chris is like 18 years old.
Oh,
Just
God.
graduated
No.
high school.
I'm illegal now.
That's why he hasn't gotten in trouble yet, because he's too young to
Still
have gotten
too
in that
young.
type of trouble yet.
still too young. Yeah, good times at Bio.
All right, so we shared our bonehead moves, and we've got about 5 minutes or so left. So, Dr. Ed, your biggest bonehead move as a kid?
Oh, gosh, there's so many of them. Yeah, so my brother and I were at a Ben Franklin 5 and Dime, and my brother was stuffing my shirt with toys as if we were going to actually get away with it. So he had all the toys stuffed in my shirt, and I was attempting to walk out, and of course the lady, hey, grabs me and, saw the toys. Of course I rolled on them too quickly. He made me do it, So yeah, that one sticks out. We still talk about that one.
I think my favorite story, it's not even a bonehead story, but one time my dad fell in some bushes when he was a kid.
Oh no, don't tell this story, Mare.
He thought it was bees, but it was really just flies in his pants. That was the best story I've ever heard.
They were buzzing around. I ran home crying, thinking I had a beehive in my pants. My mother pulled my pants off, and a bunch of flies come flying out.
It still cracks me.
That's great. All right, Dad, I know you have a ton. We could, but you have about 5 minutes.
You got to narrow it down. He's saying
it. Your best. The thing is I should have had my aunts come on talking about my dad, because my aunts can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And the stories have been passed down. Like, my sister knows all these stories about my dad. Like, and I forget them all because I'm usually drunk when I hear them again and again and again. But there's some great stories. So go ahead.
The problem with asking the aunts, your aunts, on talk about my bonehead moves, is they would tell you, oh, Richie was a saint, he was perfect and all that. They were my biggest protectors. And I just recently told this story. So I'm about 6, maybe 7 years old, and my cousin Michael, we were living in the Bronx, and my cousin Michael and his family came up from Florida to visit for Christmas. Well, my father worked downtown Manhattan, and every once in a while in a produce market, and he used to take me to work with him. And he used to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he worked till noon. Well, he promised that he was going to take my cousin and I to work with him one day. Well, we woke up, and he didn't take us. So we left the house at about 4:30 in the morning, went outside, took the subway, had to do a transfer at another station, and we showed up in Lexington Avenue at about 6 o'clock in the morning and walked into his store. He says, "What the hell are you doing here?" And we says, "Well, you were supposed to take us to work." Interesting, I just told that story 2 weeks ago or last weekend, whenever it was, when we babysat for the kids, and little Ricky said to me, "And you're smart?"
That's funny.
Yeah, that was.
Well, I mean, you made it there. You navigated it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that showed initiative.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the other things, also living in the Bronx, we used to have family gatherings, like most people did back then. And it was we probably had about 15 people at the house. And all the guys would play pinochle or cards after a long festive dinner. And they ran out of cards. So my father gives me 50 cents to go up to the store about half a block away to get a deck of cards. And so I kind of got a little sidetracked. There was a guy pushing a tomato cart, and he was probably about 75 years old and could barely even stand up. So for the next 2.5 hours, I helped him push the cart. And I figured I was going to get some great reward. Well, he gave me a nickel and a tomato. And then I had to face the music when I went back upstairs, and they said, "Where the hell have you been?" Yeah. So needless to say, I got my head handed to me by my father at night. Yeah.
And you're like, but
here's a tomato. I did get a nickel. Where are the cards? They were more concerned about the cards.
I'll be right back.
One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation, right at the start of everything that's new. One little spark
Hey, it's Alex from Diz His. You know me, you know Joe, you definitely know Chris, and you know Jen. Well, we're the hosts of Diz His, the Disney History Podcast. Every week we take one Disney subject and go over the history, as well as our insight on the subject. We talk about other Disney topics, as well as what's new in the news. You can find us on all podcast platforms, or go to our website, dizhiz.com. That's DIZHIZ.com. And we're on all social media at DizHiz65.
Chris, what do you got going on Diz His this week?
This week we are doing the character Winnie the Pooh. Not to be confused with the movie, not the book, the character. So that's going to be a fun one because that's Emily's favorite character. So if I bomb this episode, I will be sleeping on the couch. A lot of pressure for me.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I'm excited about that. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is like every kid had Winnie the Pooh all over their room.
Yeah. I actually did. I actually went through my childhood stuff not too long ago, and I had a lot of Winnie the Pooh little figurines that actually somehow made it down to the apartment after I found them in the attic. Don't know how they got down here. Don't ask me. My neighbors actually know me as Winnie the Pooh because whenever I get drunk, I walk around with just a shirt on, nothing else around the neighborhood.
That's awesome. You can connect with Diz His 65 on all social media, or check out their website, dizhiz.com. Jared, what do you got going on Studio 21 this week?
This week on Studio 21, C Money and myself are discussing the Minnesota Twins. Next week, we are discussing the dreaded Houston Astros. You can find us on Facebook at Studio 21 Podcast, Doc. That's what it is.
That's awesome. You know what I love about the Minnesota Twins and you said the Houston Astros, right?
Yeah.
They are both featured in baseball movies. The Minnesota Twins in Major League Part 3, and then the Houston Astros in the Bad News Bears Breaking Training. So it's the sequel to the original Bad News Bears. Thank you guys, Dad and Dr. Ed, so much for coming on tonight. Thank you for all the things that you do. I'm sure I can speak for Mary. Both of you guys, fantastic fathers, and we wouldn't be the people that we are today without the two of you in our lives. Mary, am I safe in saying that?
100%. Yeah,
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Far from the tree at all. At all. Where do you think this quick wit and humor comes from?
Thank you, Scott, Chris, and Curly, and Mayor. I appreciate it.
Nice meeting you too, Ed. Hopefully
Nice
have an
meeting
opportunity to
you,
meet
Richard.
you in live sometime.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
There we go.
We should all go have some tequila sunrises over in Disney.
Maybe at the Grand Cypress or at the Contemporary.
Chris, you're invited too.
Perfect. Yeah, give me a week's notice.
Oh yeah, if he comes down from Jersey. Don't forget to connect with us on. Right, there you go. I'll just edit my attempts to end the show out of the show. Okay. As always, please connect with us on the YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter. Just visit our website, nonewfriendspodcast.com. From there, join our Patreon, become a friend with benefits, and check out our sweet merch, including our Strange News with Mary and our Chris's Conspiracy Corner with Chris. If you listen to us on Spotify, answer that poll. If you listen to us on Apple, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. And don't forget, starting June 22nd, please vote for us for Orlando Weekly's Best of Orlando competition under the category Best Local Notables, Best Local Podcast. Just click No New Friends Podcast. We really appreciate that vote. On behalf of Chris, Mary, Dr. Ed Samaro, Mr. Richard Maffei, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.